If I had this big, giant chocolate cake in front of me, and the chocolate cake was everything that I needed to do and learn and release and rewrite for my endometriosis journey, there's no possible way I could have ever eaten this cake all at one time in one bite. It was bite by bite, implementing things little by little, transforming little by little. It's not like, again, it's not this instant journey of, oh, I flipped a switch, now I'm healed. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to another episode of Endometriosis Awakening. I am your host, Emma. A friendly reminder that when you are deciding about doctors, holistic methods, surgery, above all else, listen to your body, your intuition. You have the highest powers and keys and knowledge for your health, so honor that. There is a little ladybug that has been following me. I'm by the river right now, and it's been following me ever since I got here. And ladybugs are kind of a sign for me that I'm in the right place at the right time. That's kind of just like what I decide that they are, right? Like, signs are usually just whatever we make them to be, unless you like Google them or something. But I've been trying to Google them less and just like feel into like, what is this ladybug telling me? And today the ladybug is telling me that we're going to have a beautiful podcast episode and that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, sitting here by the river with you guys. Maybe I'll interview this ladybug in another episode, ask about its life and its theories on endometriosis. So in the first episode, I talked about my journey of sickness and how that brought me to a point that I was going to heal my endometriosis. And now, like I said, I am completely healed of endometriosis. It felt like there was this brick lodged into my abdomen. It would grow quieter and louder. And on my period and other times throughout the month, it grew these tiny spikes that would lodge into my abdomen. I was just in so much pain. And now it feels like this brick is just completely gone. Like, my stomach feels free and open and healthy, which I have not experienced that since I was a young child. So it's just so cool. And I'm so passionate about talking about this because I just know how many women are sick, and my message is that you don't need to be sick, and I'm here to talk about my experiences about it. So I begin with this journey of healing myself. Like I said, it wasn't at the beginning of the journey where I had this whole playbook. It's not like the universe gave me this book and it was like, okay, for the next 2 years, do this and this and this. You need to release this and rewrite this core belief, and you need to eat these foods, and you need to blah, 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 blah. No. So far from how it went. But my journey began with, I literally cannot live like this. I will not live like this. This disease is either going to kill me or force me to kill myself. So it just started with like I need to feel better. And like I said in my first podcast, I talked about how I was in this debilitating sickness, and I just got this voice in my head that was like, there are things that you can do to feel better with endometriosis. Having no other choice, I began to follow this voice. Thank God that I have the universe at my fingertips on my cute little phone, and so I was able to dive into all of these topics and begin to research all of these topics. At the beginning, it was just to feel better, find a little relief, but as the weeks went by, and after I met Corey Malloy, who is a woman that I met that also healed her endometriosis, and I was just like reading all of these things, somewhere along the way it went from I just need to feel a little bit better to I am going to heal this sickness, heal my body, and ditch this disease that has been suffocating me for the last decade. To heal my endometriosis was to be completely transformed in every single way. Our society, our medical system is built on these quick surface level fixes. We live in a world and a society where everything is just instant gratification, instant results. And healing my endometriosis was quite the opposite of that. It was a long, long journey. And a profound truth that was one of the key foundations to my journey was I've always been very entrepreneurial spirit, and so is my fiance as well. And so I was talking about like this business that I wanted to start, and I was like, I don't know, like, do you think it's even possible? Do you think I could even do this? Like, am I even going to make money from this? And he said, you will if you just don't quit. Like, the only way you will fail is if you quit. And that was such a profound wisdom for my healing my endometriosis, because I decided in my mind and my body that I was going to heal my endometriosis. There was no reality that I stopped this transformation before it was a full blossom of pure health and no more endometriosis. Imagine how much energy it would take to wake up every single day and be like, oh, am I gonna like heal today? Is my body capable of this? Like, I don't know. It is so much energy to be going back and forth and am I gonna heal this? Am I gonna do this? Like, is this gonna work? Have I given it enough time? Should I give up now? Just decide, I am going to heal my endometriosis, and do not stop until you feel like that has been done. Throughout this journey, I have gained such a testimony and an experience of our body's innate ability and power to heal ourselves. Also, I have at this point met 2 other women who have healed their endometriosis, and also Joe Dispenza. Shout out Joe Dispenza. I didn't really discover him until like later actually, but he also has, if you go on his YouTube or his website, he has hundreds of testimonials of people who had these, quote, chronic incurable diseases that doctors say they're gonna die from, and they literally heal themselves with their mind. Like, that is just such a profound truth, that our bodies are innate healers. And I had forgotten this truth. I was disconnected from this truth because that is the programming of the system and the society and the culture that I live in. Part of healing my endometriosis was finding out all of these false limiting cages that I was in. One of the main false limiting cages that I had to break free of was the thought that my endometriosis is completely out of my control, incurable, chronic. This phrase, this guess, was given to me by a corporation that not only is profiting off of me being sick, but also I later find out that they are actually the people that are contributing to this mass sickness with women all over the world. This is like its own episode about the Western medical system and the history of it, but just like very quickly, the shareholders and the board members of the Western Medical Corporation and the people that started this organization, they also have their hands in the food and the chemicals and all of these hormone disruptors and these literal poisons and things that are making us sick and giving us cancer. The tampons that are soaked in bleach, like, hello, obviously this is going to contribute to this rising of women who are getting sick. So not only did they create this system that is so pressurized with pharmaceutical drugs and surgery and viewing that as the only ways that we can heal, they're not dumb. It's not that they don't know that there are alternative methods to healing. This is the way that people had been healing for literally the entire history of the world. It's that they know these things and they still choose to not address them, because imagine, like, think of all of the generations of women suffering with endometriosis right now, in the past, and in the future. Can you imagine if the Western medical system acknowledged these truths of our body's innate ability to heal and our divine feminine wisdom and power and our ability to heal? Would eliminate billions of dollars from their pocket and make an entire system crumble. Because if they admit that endometriosis is in fact not incurable, and we actually do have the ability to heal ourselves and cure ourselves, not only does that crumble the institution of endometriosis for our generation and every generation after, but also it crumbles every other freaking disease that they label as chronic, incurable, totally out of your control. Then you have to think about the insurance companies that are completely corrupt and also involved with this process at this time. That was a long way to say that, like, we have to look at these boxes that we are trapped in, specifically with this point, the box of believing that endometriosis is chronic, incurable, totally out of our control. We have to look at the source that is telling us this and take back the power and be like, remember our body's innate ability, because it's like, our bodies heal themselves all the time. Maybe not on the large scale of this chronic, complex disease, because endometriosis is extremely complex and there were so many different avenues. Like, literally all of my systems and my bodies were just completely effed, and I had to release and realign and rewrite so many things. But on a smaller scale, when I tore my hamstring healed. When I broke my nose healed. When we get a scrape on our knee, it heals. Just, it's this God-given ability to heal. Obviously, there is its lines with that. Like, I'm not going to jump off a 10-story building and be like, our bodies can heal themselves. Like, there are definitely things that you cannot heal yourself from, but endometriosis is not one of those things. I think that's like something that people get so twisted about holistic medicine is, if I get in a car accident and I am like cut open and gouging blood, like, please take me to the doctor. Please have them perform emergency surgery. I think that Western medicine as well, yes, they have harmed people and they are continuing to harm people and they are a very corrupt organization. At the same time, they also have made amazing medical advancements and have been able to save millions of lives, and I acknowledge that, and I know that. Like, my sister's life was saved with the Western medical system, and I am so grateful for that, and I'm so grateful that we had the access to these extremely smart and educated doctors. The thing is, we have to look at what they are extremely educated and smart in, which is surgeries and medicine. And with endometriosis, clearly surgery and medicine is not the way to go, because everybody's still freaking sick and people are losing entire organs to this disease because the doctors don't know how to fix it, and they can't admit this, and they can't widen their scope to be able to offer true and real healing. Like, we have to look at the history of this industry and ask the question, was this industry ever truly built to listen and acknowledge and help women truly deeply with their pain and their illnesses? And the answer is no. A little rant on the believing that you can actually heal. Like, just decide that you can heal your endometriosis and do not stop until you get there. And then begs the next question. Okay, Emma, like, yeah, that's awesome, that's great, but how would I even do that? Like, I don't even know where to start. Yes. When people ask me how I healed my endometriosis, it usually goes with like me staring at them for a few seconds, having a little giggle, and being like, I transformed my life and my body completely, and I changed everything about my life. Well, and that's also why I wrote a book about it, because I was telling all of these people about how this happened, and I could never like fully express everything that I did. And that is why I wrote my book, How I Transformed My Life with Endometriosis, because in my book, that is where I outline all of the areas in my life, in all of my bodies. When I say all of my bodies, what does this mean? So in yoga philosophy, there are 5 bodies: physical body, mental emotional body, energetic body, wisdom body, bliss body. And I have gained a testimony of all of these bodies. I have felt and experienced different things in all of these bodies through yoga and through other methods. I plan to do an entire other video about the 5 koshas and what that meant for my endometriosis, but that's just kind of a quick rundown, because I probably will mention it a lot. The person who has the true answers and wisdom, knowledge, and power to your specific exact journey is no one else but yourself. It was such a practice of rediscovering my God-given intuition and power and gift. Like, we are nature, we are humans, and we are also animals. And animals have this innate intuition. And I was so disconnected from that. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even know it was a thing. If I heard my intuition, I wouldn't have even listened to it because I was so involved in what everybody else was thinking and saying and telling me what to do. It was so rare that I would ever turn to myself for answers or solutions. I held the keys. I didn't have this 12-step program of what to do. I didn't have somebody telling me what to do. Those answers and those healings I found from within myself. Through this journey, I found not only are our bodies these great divine healers, but also great divine guides. Like, when you implement the practice of truly dropping out of your mind and feeling into your body and just allowing your body to guide you, and just like, it was such a practice of closing my eyes and moving in a way that felt good and moving into my power by doing these funky dances and these weird yoga moves. And I would literally hold my hands to my stomach and create the space, create the silence to be able to hear. Because it's like I was guiding this journey with myself and with my body and with this divine source, God, whatever you want to call it. I didn't really have a relationship with this source at the beginning, but I was humbled and blown away time and time again as I am hearing things from strangers and from my TikTok, and even just like the ponderings of my own mind. Like, I would just think of these things and then I would do them and I would implement them and they would actually really help. And that's the coolest thing, is so many of the things that I transformed and implemented, I later found out were scientifically backed by ancient medicine. Like, my journey basically perfectly coincides with traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurvedic medicine. When I lived this entire journey, I didn't even know that those were things. Like, and then when I learned about them, I'm like, holy shit, like, I did all of these things and discovered all of these things so intuitively, which is so beautiful that I'm just like receiving these downloads from this ancient medicine. Also, Joe Dispenza, like, what I was pondering and intuitively thinking about our mind and the power of our mind and the power of our thoughts and our beliefs, I later discovered Joe Dispenza, and I'm like, oh my God, this is literally what I have been saying. So it's like all of these things intuitively through my body, through the universe, through purely just embarking on a journey and waking up every single day and deciding that I was going to heal myself, led me with all of these things that people have been doing for the entire history of the world. Look into holistic healing, traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, yoga, Joe Dispenza. There are resources for healing your body. Even just like, you can keep the label of endometriosis, but also just look at your body as something that is extremely sick. Like, there were not a lot of specific endometriosis resources. So then I started to just look at specific symptoms that I was experiencing and be able to target those specific symptoms. Like my CPTSD, I looked at that, and my anxiety and depression, and I looked at that and I found the roots of those and I dove into that. And then I'm like having a mix of diarrhea and constipation and throwing up, and my stomach hurts all the time and I'm extremely bloated. So it's like, okay, yes, endometriosis may be causing these things, but at the end of the day, like, it is clear that I have a sick digestive system and I have a sick stomach. And so it's like, then I'm learning about gut health and food and how to heal your lining. And with the physical side, I'm also learning about the emotional and spiritual and energetic side. And so it's like looking at your body as a whole, as all of your different bodies, because we are not just flesh and blood, far from it. We are energy, we are spirit, we are light, we are water, we are We are literally nature and animal, and we are things seen and things unseen. To limit your healing to purely physical is to grossly underestimate what this disease is, what our bodies are. I saw that in every single one of my different bodies, I was deeply wounded and deeply sick, and that was shown to me through a physical manifestation of this disease, of this illness. But I had to do deep emotional and mental healing. I had to rewire my brain. I had to go through intense trauma therapy, nervous system regulation, learning how to breathe and stand up properly, learning about hormones and the things that were affecting my hormones. Like, you have all of your different bodies, and also you have all of these different systems within your physical body that also need to be addressed, because every single thing that could have been out of whack in my body was completely out of whack. And so it was about releasing all of this shit that didn't belong to me, all of this shit that was lodged in my body that was making me ill, replacing it with love and light and all of these things with a higher vibrational frequency. It's like I truly did remove the label of endometriosis, and I looked at my body for just being extremely sick. I was sick in every single way. And so then I was trying to create a healthy body. And so I began to design what this body looked like and felt like, and I was visualizing it in my mind, and I was feeling what that would feel like, and I was pretending to be this person that I had never been before, because I was never going to heal myself, and I was never going to feel better continuing to live the life and act these habits and do the things that I was doing that both got me sick and kept me sick. And so I had to change my life completely and build a body from scratch that is healthy, and that included all of my systems, all my different bodies. I didn't even know what it felt like to be healthy, and I had to continue to practice stepping out of who I am into who I was trying to be. The sick version of me died. Like, that version of me is gone. She's a part of me still, of course. Every version of who I've always been is who I am right now, but that's not the version of me that is at the driver's wheel. That's not the version of me that is living my life throughout my days. So allow your journey to be divinely guided from God, from your body. Also, just begin to research, look into things, take action, take control for your life. This was such a radical accountability for, like, I was brought to my knees and forced to surrender to something greater than myself, because I wasn't going to be able to survive how I was. And it was such a epiphany of, like, nobody was coming to save me. The doctors weren't going to help me. I didn't really know any other choice, any other option but to save myself. That doesn't mean that I was the only one involved in my healing. I had healing facilitators, I had therapists, my friends held me and supported me, my fiance. Like, there were so many people involved in my healing, and that was such an important part of my healing. You cannot do this journey alone, and at the same time, you are the core and the foundation and the powerhouse of your healing, and everybody else is a support and a facilitator and a vessel for your healing. I believe the biggest way to fail this healing journey is to believe that you can fail, to believe that you already will fail before you even give it a shot, and to ever give up. It's like, yeah, it was a lot of work to heal my endometriosis, clearly a lot of time, but it was the most divine, empowering, spiritual, awesome, fun, transformative experience. I wouldn't trade it for the world, truly. And also, it's like, what else are you gonna do? I was sick as frick every day for 10 years. Like, you're either suffering helplessly over here, or you're embarking on this journey to get a little bit better every single day. I heard this beautiful podcast, a shout out leadership and yoga podcast, and it talked about our dreams being a tree. And so your dream is the seed. And I wrote a poem relating the journey of endometriosis to a tree, because you plant this seed of, okay, I'm going to heal my endometriosis. And as long as you continue to water that seed every single day, your tree will grow into a beautiful blossomed body of health and healing. And it's very steady, slow growth. Also, at first, it can be unseen, right? We have these roots below the surface, and then it starts to sprout. And it's like, imagine if your tree got halfway, you become impatient, frustrated, fall back into the cage given to you by these doctors telling you that you're going to be sick forever, and you take an axe to this tree and you're like, I hate this tree. This tree was never even going to happen. It was never even true. I was stupid for believing this. And now you're back to being sick and helpless. You are your own guide. You are your own power. You are your own ability and vessel to heal. And that's all I got to say about that. It's a beautiful day outside. Make sure to get outside, touch some grass, hug a tree, get some sunshine. Thank you for tuning into today's episode. If you are liking this podcast, resonating with what I say, it helps me so much to be able to reach more people. If you like, comment, subscribe. I'm going to start posting yoga flows for women with endometriosis, so keep an eye out for that. Again, I have my book, How I Transformed My Life with Endometriosis. I also host Zoom yoga flows created specifically for women with endometriosis. I got you. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to heal, to break free of all of these numerous cages. I could talk about all of the cages I had to break out of for hours, but I'm excited for you and your journey, and being able to one day hopefully have my own playlist of testimonials from women who awaken to their power and their ability to heal, and I'm able to have them on this podcast. And so there's strength in power and community and numbers. Like, I'm only one person. I can scream into the void all day about how I healed my endometriosis, but truly there is power in numbers. And so I'm just excited for more women to awaken to their healing of endometriosis. I love you. I'm proud of you. You're doing great. Be nice to yourself, and happy healing. Bye. God bless. Namaste.